So you are traveling now?
I traveled, actually. I reached here yesterday. And before that, I was supposed to, when I was attending it from Cairo, it was different time. And now in Pakistan, it's different time.
Very good, good. Good to have you with us, Dr. Jawhar.
Yes, good to see you.
Okay, very good. Excellent. Uh, okay, because still Dr. Valerie, she's a little bit late. Maybe she will join us a little bit late. So can we start our meeting at least?
Yes,
Okay. Thank
I'm
you
ready
all.
for meeting.
So it's my pleasure to welcome you all to our meeting. Like to thank all the directors of the WHO collaborating centers of joining us, and also our expert, Dr. Gohar Wajid and Dr. Valerie. And just to say a few words about our invited expert in medical education, Dr. Gohar Wajid. He's a medical educationist and he is a technical officer of the Health Workforce Development at the WHO office in Egypt. He is familiar with the Arabian region. He worked in several Arab countries in Saudi Arabia and UAE. He's specialized in strategic and operational planning and health services. He has also credit for establishing healthcare quality management system and organizing health information management system in UAE. His publication range from topic of professionalism to patient safety, amongst many others. He has also contributed to many international conferences as a guest speaker. Dr. Valerie, hopefully she will join us soon. She is a professor of medical education and primary health care, primary care, the School of Medicine, Aberdeen University, and she is Emeritus Professor of Medical Education, Faculty of Medicine and Health, Keele University, UK. She is honorary treasurer Wonka Executive Board, and she's a chair of Wonka Working Party on Education Program. She is leader of Masters in Medical Education for Healthcare Professionalism, Ireland, UK. So you are welcome all to our meeting, and maybe we'll go to our agenda because we are a little bit late. So maybe we'll start with Dr. Mohamed Hany, uh, giving us a summary about our previous meeting. We met as three centers director in last year, end of last year actually, in December 29th. And we have يعني productive meeting, and it was end with recommendation, and we will share this with Dr. Jawhar. He was just today to give us his insight about how we can collaborate as a WHO collaborating center, how we can improve our collaborations. Dr. Mohamed Hany, you can just give us a brief about our previous meeting and the output of that meeting.
Yes, sure. Today we meet together with all the distinguished directors and our medical education experts to reach a consensus on improving ways of working and collaboration among the four WHO collaborating centers in health professionals education in the EMR region. Our redesignation plan relevant deliverables, this activity is within the study to improve contribution of collaborating centers in health professional education. And our deliverable by the end of, inshallah, Thursday, will develop an agreed paper on the agreed ways forward to improve the contribution of our centers on health professional education. This is the summary of what was done in this term of reference, the study to improve the contribution of the centers. So we started by review of literature regarding the best practices of the educational development centers and the WHO collaborating centers on health professionals education. And we've reviewed more than 100 published articles from the four centers And we've put them under 6 categories: curriculum design, teaching and learning, assessment, innovation, program evaluation, accreditation, and postgraduate education. Then we've distributed a survey among the 4 centers, and guided by the review, the survey was distributed in November 2020, and it explored areas for collaboration in 5 suggested areas. The result of the survey were used then for the next step or the next stage, which is online discussions through wide involvement of the 4 centers. So we had this meeting, virtual meeting, also on December the 29th of 2020 among the 4 centers, and we received a summary from each center about their current activities and even historic activities. And we started discussing the possible areas for collaboration, and they were summarized into the 4 themes that we are going to work on, inshallah, today and after tomorrow. The next step is the current meeting, a meeting in Bahrain to be attended by 2 international experts in medical education and the representatives of the 4 centers to reach consensus in improving ways of working and collaboration between the 4 centers. And by the end of this meeting, we are expected to develop a consensus document regarding ways forward to improve collaboration. So I think that we are going to move from discussing the ways of collaboration into application and implementation. This is, in summary, the survey results. We have here the input from the College of Physicians and Surgeons in Pakistan regarding the 5 suggested areas: Jazeera Education Development Center, the Center of Research and Development in Medical Education in Suez Canal, and our center in AGU. So regarding the joint faculty development programs and online training workshops, the College of Physicians and Surgeons of Pakistan concluded that they conduct regular faculty development workshops for their fellows who want to become supervisors for the fellowship and membership programs, as well as another series of capacity building workshops. Jazeera Education Development Center, they said that they can provide facilitators, they can share experience in faculty development programs, including postgraduate studies in community-based education, social accountability, curriculum development, and accreditation as example of areas for collaboration in such webinars or faculty development workshops. CRD said that they have medical education and quality assurance, and they can help in these areas in addition to evaluation of medical school programs and accreditation. And AGU, we concluded that collaboratively, the 4 centers might agree on the common faculty needs and develop an annual plan for the proposed online workshops. I think we can work on this today. Each center might contribute with experts in the proposed workshop or even nominate international experts to participate in these joint online webinars. So this is our first theme. Our second theme is conducting multi-sense center research in health professional education, various areas. All the centers already have experience and publications in health professional education. For Pakistan Center, they run membership programs in health professional education and healthcare systems management since 2004. Research, Jazeera can help in formulating teams, discussing ideas, contribute in research design, and also research on accumulated experience in health professional education. As well as CRD, they can provide expertise and human resources needed for the multi-center research, and AGU can participate in selecting priority topics and reflect the regional experience. Regarding sharing experience in technology scaffolding, Pakistan Center is already using the ICT to facilitate administrative and academic functions, and they have a strong IT department. Jazeera have started e-learning recently and gradually, but they are very much interested to develop this area through technology and relevant media. The AGU, we can share in our experience in technology scaffolding according to the agreed on forms, as for reports, meetings, webinars, and hands-on training. Our last theme, the establishment of Health Professional Education Society and Journal. We've discussed this, and there is already an established society and I think journal for the Eastern Mediterranean region. So we will go for the fourth area, which is collaboration in a program leading to a degree in health professional education. Depending upon strength of each center, sustainability of arrangements involved, and the approval of the administration in Pakistan Center, we can do this. Jazeera already established postgraduate studies in health professional education, face-to-face and distant learning programs. CRD can provide staff and program and can help in program construction. In AGU, we already have our own master in health professional education, master degree. However, we think that faculty from our college and faculty from other institutes can participate in different programs, and this will add value to the different programs. Based on our meeting in December, these four themes are identified for further discussion, which is today and after tomorrow. We will start by discussing the joint faculty development programs, online training workshops. The second theme is collaboration in multicentric research. Our third theme will be sharing experience in technology scaffolding in health professional education. And our fourth and last theme will be collaboration in programs leading to a degree in health professional education. Thank you very much.
So my quick comment is that if Dr. Hany can share the presentation with all of us, because I need to give it a deeper thought, and then we can have further discussion. In addition to Zoom meetings, we can have further discussions through emails as well. Over to all of you.
Yes,
I think it's a good suggestion. Yes, we will continue.
So, Dr. Hany,
so now we will start our discussions in the first theme for today, which is the health professional education faculty development programs and online webinars, facilitated by Dr. Archana.
Thank you, Professor Hany. Warm welcome to all. The scope and purpose of faculty development has always been dynamic. It is an ongoing reflective practice for all faculty at all stages of their career. Joint FTPs are now recommended as a good practice, where in addition to addressing the needs of an individual department or institution, we can facilitate communication across institutions, helping to foster an academic community that encourages great intellectual scholarship. That is why this is the first theme of discussion today. I request Dr. Gohar to lead the discussion on this important theme to help us identify the high priority areas to be addressed by joint FTP, the strategies to be followed for administrative support, faculty engagement, planning, implementation, follow-up, and evaluation of such joint FTPs, and anticipated challenges and how to overcome them, the possible solutions for them. I request all the dignitaries to actively share their expertise, which will enable us to draft a plan based on your recommendations. I hand over to Dr. Gohar and request him to kindly lead the discussion. Over to you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Archana, for giving me this opportunity to lead this discussion. A couple of points. I think in the wake of COVID-19, what we have seen, the way technology has transferred, it has further signified the need for having continuing faculty development on issues related to technology. But this is just, I would say, the end, the beginning of a road that we don't know what would be the destination. But we need to not only keep in mind the transformation that is going through COVID-19, but at the same time uh, we need to consider that there are some basic fundamental things going on related to faculty development that we still need to address in the wake of like having infrastructure for faculty development, the regulatory support by the regulatory bodies, which is very much lacking in many parts of the EMR region. Then having structured faculty development programs that really address the needs of our region. In addition to it, I would like to propose to the panelists if they can. I'm already thinking of starting an online teacher training program for the teachers from the EMR. So my suggestion would be if I would be sending you some more details through your emails, and I would need some more ideas from you on how best we can develop some very basic um, online, fully asynchronous, fully automated. It is not going to be synchronous program through some kind of online teacher support, but we need to have some kind of program that the teachers can attend on themselves uh, on the use of existing technologies for online education. So that is where I am already working, and I would be pleased to join hands not only within the EMR collaboration centers, but even outside EMR. If there are any collaboration centers that want to join hands, we would be pleased to share ideas and see how best we can use the technical expertise within the region to develop such program that is of mutual benefit to all teachers in and outside the region. Over to you for further discussion. What are thoughts from our other colleagues?
Can I speak, Dr. Gohar?
Yes, sir, please.
Dr. Siraj. Let us first of all see what are the needs of the different centers, and then we may also identify whether these different centers, they are working for undergraduate medical education or postgraduate medical education. There may be difference of needs in the two cases, and therefore I would request each center in the EMR to list down its needs, and then a committee should sort out the commonalities in the needs, and then we can develop a program for meeting those needs, those common needs. Ji, yes.
Let me reflect on what you have said, Dr. Siraj. If I understood it correctly, you want to identify and have assessment of the needs of faculty development needs of collaboration centers. Am I right?
Yes, please. Yes.
So, what needs? What do you mean by needs of faculty development centers? Do you mean that faculty development centers, the 4 faculty development centers, should contribute to identifying faculty development needs uh, in their particular countries that they are exposed to, and share ideas about what are faculty development needs at undergraduate and both postgraduate levels in their countries, that we can join hands to fill that huge gap that is existing there under current circumstances to address those needs.
That's right. That's right.
Excellent. I think this is a great idea that we can take a good start with identifying what are faculty development needs in the region through collaboration centers, And this may not be a very, we don't need to conduct a very well structured quantitative cross-sectional descriptive study for that matter. Even an expert panel like we are discussing right now, our opinion on these issues is an evidence for me, where a panel of experts have identified that these are the faculty development needs, these are the areas of need where we need to address, and this is how best we can join hands to address these needs. Over. Any other ideas?
Yes. I must put the example of the College of Physicians and Surgeons, Pakistan. We have tailored the needs of the trainee. We have identified the needs of the trainees, our residents, in postgraduate programs. And we have also identified the needs of our supervisors. And accordingly, we have developed programs separately, faculty development programs for the faculty, as well as the development programs for the residents as well, so that whatever residency program they are pursuing satisfactorily. For example, many people, when they enter the postgraduate program in Pakistan, they are not computer literate or they are not very proficient. So we offer them, these trainees, to offer them a workshop on computer and internet, right? And if they want to, if they are already proficient, they may skip it and they may appear in a test for computer and internet. Similarly, when they come to our residency program, the trainees are offered a workshop on communication skills because their communication skills is quite weak. So these are the workshops for the residents. Similarly, those who want to supervise our different residency program, we have identified 4 educational workshops for them. One is the basic, which is the educational planning and evaluation. Second is the assessment of competence. The third is the supervisory skills. And the fourth is the research methodology and medical writing. So this helps them in guiding their residents in different fields. Over to you.
Yeah, I think these are great ideas, and these faculty development needs are quite common in most of the countries, as I have experienced and seen. I would just like to add one more point, that over the past 10 years, there have been several programs for faculty development indeed running in Pakistan, and I started that program in Dammam University when I was in Saudi Arabia as well. And this is what we call Certificate in Health Professions Education. I used to call it Certified Medical Teacher as well, that addresses the very basic needs of any medical teacher and provides him some orientation on how effectively he can teach both at undergraduate and postgraduate levels. I'm sure there are experiences from other parts of the region as well. And in addition to the research that Professor Siraj has mentioned, I am aware of quite a number of research articles and some of the theses done by my own students on identifying faculty development needs and developing strategies on how best those needs can be addressed. Any other views from other worthy participants? Over,
Yes,
please.
if I can add just here,
Yes, sir.
I think we agree on what Dr. Siraj suggests. The needs is very important to address. And recently we conducted a survey on what our faculty needs here at the College of Medicine at the Arabian Gulf University. I think maybe Dr. Archana can share with us some of the finding of the surveys and what they exactly are looking forward to participate. Dr. Archana, you can. Dr. Archana.
So in our study, it was found that it was a Google form we distributed, and our faculty were asked to give their opinion on what they wanted. The first and foremost, which they told was interactive teaching methods for large groups, followed by teaching small groups. And then they also interested in the quality assurance in medical education. And this year, many of them have expressed their interest in curriculum development, implementation, and evaluation as well. They also wanted to know more about leadership in medical education. And the last one was workplace-based assessment. And many of them have also expressed participating in our faculty development program as faculty to share their expertise. And they have also volunteered to participate in longitudinal faculty development programs, which is built over a period of time. This is our experience for this year. Thank you.
So can we develop this basic package أو the very basic responding to the basic needs of medical educators? Can we develop it in a collaborating manner? So we identify the content. This will be asynchronous. It will be ready short videos that are available for any medical teachers in EMRO region or in anywhere in the world to access, as I understand from Professor Gohar. So can we collaborate in identifying the topics and assigning each topic to one or two faculty member of our centers? So we develop a joint basic package for medical teachers?
That I would say it would be a great idea. Conceptually speaking, I agree with you, but we still need to explore more on identifying the needs exactly, and then getting into the modalities and processes on how best those needs can be met. This could be one single program in the form of a short course. This could be several workshops, asynchronous. This could be the development of a dedicated website by joining hands through 4 collaboration centers, where I would be pleased to provide funding from the WHO program. We can always consider it on how best some kind of website can be developed, where the 4 centers can join hands, and then based on the experiences from 4 centers, how best we can provide some access to the institutions, not only in the 4 centers, the countries they are serving, but also other countries, where the teachers from these institutions can join the websites, and they can have great learning experiences on the website. And at the same time, then we can provide some kind of CME hour support as well to them, to get some credits for whatever the activities they attend. So I believe that we have enormous choices, but conceptually speaking, if we identify uh, exactly what needs to be done, then we can get into the discussion on how this needs to be done, fulfilling the requirements. And we don't need to start in a big manner. I would be pleased to see if there is a small startup that have the capacity with a vision to expand through the identification, implementation of achieving our strategic goals. I believe it would be a great start. What do other participants think?
Well, Assalamu alaikum. I have some few comments. Could you hear me?
Yes, Dr. Wael.
Hear me. Okay, I think thank you for this very nice discussion. Well, I think every of all EDC centers, as we know, education development centers, have their own objectives and plans and activities to address the needs of their faculties and staff in their own institutions. So I think when speaking about collaboration, I think it's rather better to outline what we feel is missing, or what gaps do we have that we can benefit from other centers, rather than addressing a very basic needs because the basic needs are actually cared for in each institution. If I understand the question raised by Mohamed Hany, uh, I think let us focus about what lacks in every center. For example, in EDC in Jazeera, we provide continuous workshops and training courses, as we know, in instructional methods and evaluation methods, student assessment, community-based education, program evaluation, accreditation, and so on. And also in research and in other areas, face-to-face, and also through online, through either Zoom or Moodle. So we can provide such courses for whom think it's can benefit from it from other centers. But if you ask me, in Jazeera, I think we have some gaps. I could say, for example, we need your help, or we have some gaps. First, in capacity building, in undergraduate e-learning, especially in areas of virtual reality, and assessment using e-learning or online methods. We are lacking in this area. In other areas, we need help in research, capacity building in research, especially in qualitative research. Third area is also quality in medical education. So we can share with each other what type of courses and workshops are available in each center, and all faculties from all these four centers can join different courses in different centers. But I think we have to outline each center what gap is there, and so we can for example, I can get help from Gulf University or Suez. Suez can get help from me in Sudan. Each of us has an area of better experience. I hope I make my point clear. Just to outline, I think, to be practical, each center to outline what gaps in training or needs needed to be fulfilled by a program, a joint program. But let the basic needs to be fulfilled as usual within our centers. Thank you.
Just, I would like to welcome Dr. Valerie first. She just joined us. So our
Absolutely, I totally agree with you. Absolutely.
welcome, Dr. Valerie.
Yes, welcome. Go ahead, sir.
Assalamu alaikum. I do apologize for being late. It was the time zones didn't quite work for me, so I was in another meeting. But I'm here now for the rest of the meeting. So thank you very much. Shukran.
Welcome, Dr. Valerie. So, absolutely, I totally agree with you, sir, that we need to identify the needs first, and then see how best these needs can be addressed, maybe starting small, and then we can always expand on it. And I have some experience of developing these online asynchronous programs, where I'm involved in developing 4 or 5 programs right now on different areas. And especially this need became evident after we had seen what happened in during COVID, and the way physicians and nurses needs related to COVID activities, the use of vaccine, the myths and realities, the facts and figures, and the evidences that are being, and so many disinformation that is there. So we thought of developing some kind of very basic training programs related to providing evidence-based information to them. We can use the same strategy to develop teacher training programs, which could be, we could start simple, have keeping them asynchronous, fully automated, which can be attended by the teachers on their own pace, and then keep on adding into it to develop them further with the passage of time. This is just one suggestion, based on what I have gathered so far from here. Over from my end.
Dr. Archana, can I participate? I think
Yes,
I think these are two levels. The first level is to identify the strength or the best courses that we can provide and the gaps that we have as for the 4 centers. So this is one level. The other level is to provide this kind of basic workshops for medical teachers in the EMR region. So we can, I think that we can work on both levels. So we will identify the needs, we will identify the gaps for each institute and help each other in conducting these programs. I know from what Prof, Wael, for example, discussed that Suez Canal, for example, can help us all in quality in medical education, for example. We can help in the technology and online assessment, for example, part. So we can really collaborate together, fulfilling the needs of the 4 centers, but we can develop this basic package for the whole region, for whatever country or whatever medical school that needs these basic topics. And we can like distribute the topics on after we conduct the brief analysis that was suggested by Prof. Gohar. I think there are 2 levels of.
I agree with you. I totally agree with you, Dr. Hany, that we can work even at 2 levels. Absolutely no problem. And let me add on to it. We don't need to look into who can develop these workshops within the region. If we have correctly identified the needs of the teachers, and we find out that there is XYZ person sitting in any part of the world, we are very open. We can hire the best possible persons to guide us on to how to go ahead and what technologies need to be used in order to develop our programs. So we are quite flexible there.
That's perfect. It seems perfect.
Any other ideas?
Yes, can I speak?
Yes, Dr. Siraj. Yes. You are muted. Dr. Siraj, can you unmute yourself?
The Ms. Archana has laid down the results of the survey, in which she mentioned on the top of this list was interactive teaching methods, large and small group. And this finding is very important, because this is a very basic thing, and this is the need of the day, that we, especially in developing world, where we are still following lectures, where still we are following large group teaching, we need to develop strategies for teaching interactively. And that is one of the area where we would like to start with interactive teaching methods, large and small groups. And this could be, instead of developing an entire coursework, including everything, assessment and curriculum and evaluation, let us start with a very modest step. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
I would like to share that interactive teaching method. Yes, absolutely. This is one of the chronic issues, on once you start interacting, then this interactivity and interaction with students, it provides a major pathway to shifting the major educational shift from teacher-centered education to what we call student-centered hands with the other modalities as well, like for example self-directed learning, etc. There is a recent article published by a couple of my students uh, on how to do these online education interactivity. There is 12 tips published in Medical Teacher by Dr. Han and Komalata. I would be pleased to share the article with you. They have provided 12 tips on how to do interactive teaching on using online methods these days, which was the need of the time, so they got it very highly praised. Over at my end. Any other ideas, or shall we shift to the next topic?
If Dr. Valerie want to comment on the faculty development program, the parts that she already heard. I know she didn't
Yes,
have
I'm just making a list of everybody's names and wondering where everybody was from. That's just what I was doing there. I think the only response I would make is it was Professor Wajid who was speaking about interactive teaching online. Is what's concerning a lot of us as we move out of COVID. So it's an exciting time looking at COVID. What have we learned? And how should we go forward? And I think that's probably an important part of being together now, looking at that. I know from working with Mohamed, nice to see you, Mohamed, Assalamu alaikum, that there a lot is emerging from COVID, and you've managed really very well to work online. But one of the most important things of your program that we've just been looking at is the mentoring. So is it Professor Wajid? I think it's great that we think about what we've learned from COVID and how we can work interactively online. But there's increasing concern about what we would miss if we didn't go back to some of our old ways. I think a lot of us are concerned that we would lose face-to-face student teaching. Yeah, I think that's really important. And one of the biggest things when we've been looking internationally at COVID is the mental stress of working so much online over the past year. Students are mentally stressed. They found it difficult. I hear the word lonely quite a lot from our students up in Aberdeen. And teachers are very stressed by having to put everything online and all the work that's been done. And I think they miss that. And clinically, there's a lot emerging about missing our actual work clinically, where we touch and interact with patients face to face. And I have to say, in the UK, the patients are really grumbling because they're missing seeing their doctors, and pathology is being missed because people aren't seeing their doctors. So I think it's important to think about how we can work interactively online, but a lot of us are very worried about how we get back to face-to-face teaching and get the balance right. So I think the point about that Professor Shaikh made about small group teaching is important. And my instinct is that really has to go back to face-to-face. We've all got this problem. I've just been on a teaching session where half the people are on screen and you can't see their faces, so you don't know whether to bring them in. And I think we're all struggling with that with our medical students as well. So that's really what's going through my head at the moment, Professor Kumar, as I sit here. So I shall look forward after the prayer group. Perhaps you could all introduce yourselves then, and then I can work out a bit more what to say. Does that make sense, Mohamed, from what we've been talking about with your master's course?
Of course, yes, makes a lot of sense, and that's common. It's a common concern in all institutions, I think.
Absolutely. I totally agree with you, Dr. Valerie. There is online education and especially online teaching and learning should not be taken as full replacement for face-to-face modalities. Face-to-face teaching, teamwork, and so many things, the competencies that are taught through face-to-face teaching, they all of them may not be addressed adequately as in online teaching methods. So online teaching for the time being as it is developing, it has long way to go to reach the level of transformation that it may still not be able to replace face-to-face teaching. That's why the term emergency remote teaching has been coined, which describes exactly on what's the role of online teaching at the moment. And I think the intention of most of the medical institutions, even at this stage, is that once the things get normalized, they would go back to probably their original positions, given that the advantages of online in terms of other modalities that we can cash on those advantages, we should reap the better things out of them. Over at my end.
Thank you, Dr. Gohar, for leading the discussion.
Dr.
Over to-
Archana, can I?
Yes, please.
Yes. So I think this is yet a new level of collaboration. So we have the basic package. We have to satisfy the needs of the 4 centers, and this can be as the topic is being discussed now, the interactive and what's how to go back. What is the proper mix after COVID-19? How will it be? I suggest that the 4 centers commit to a number of webinars, joint webinars, where we, if there is an emerging topic like this one, we can share our expertise and invite others to listen to. I think medical educators, if they attend a discussion by Prof. Valerie, Prof. Gohar, Prof. Abdelhalim, Prof. Siraj, and the rest of us, if they attend such a discussion or sharing experience, it will be very interesting for them, and it will be very useful. And my suggestion is to organize once a year or maybe twice a year webinar between the experts in 4 centers with international experts maybe or regional experts from the WHO to present one of the hot topics in medical education. It will be interesting. It will show the collaboration and it will benefit the community of medical teachers. So I don't know, what do you think? Dr. Wael seems to like the idea. Unmute Dr. Wael, please.
I think it's a very good suggestion. And you see, this interactive teaching is not only during the COVID or during this period of webinar or so on and so forth. It also applies equally to the physical teaching, where the number of students are more, number is huge, then we have to adapt certain strategies. For example, questioning techniques, for example, presentations, for example, paraphrasing, and all these techniques have to be adapted to make the lecture or make the presentation interesting and meaningful. And therefore, we can start interactive teaching as one of the primary aim with large group and a small group. There is the whole dynamics is changed with the small groups and with the large group. So we can have on web, but we can also have physical interactive teaching in large group as well as a small group. Over to you.
For Valerie, you can.
Thank you. I think that's important. I like the ideas of webinars, Mohamed, but in terms of engaging, I think we also need to think a lot about how different generation Y and Z are from us as learners. And some of the things that I've seen tried, like flipped classroom, I think these young learners are so good at finding knowledge, and they don't necessarily want a straight lecture. They'll look up over the web to find YouTubes and what they're doing in other medical schools. So they're a very different learner. And a lot of us are thinking that they're fine with knowledge. Traditionally, we've given them the knowledge and then taught them the skills. It's almost with these groups of students now, they don't socialize in the same way, so they haven't got the same face-to-face contact with each other, because they do it all on screen. You don't pick up the phone, you text. And so there's some concern that when they come to medical school or into postgraduate training, we really have to get them not to learn knowledge at that point, but to get them to learn how to socialize, to how to mix with people. So I think we've got a lot of thinking to do about how students learn nowadays. And certainly at King's, where they were doing flipped classroom, they weren't coming to the lectures, or because they don't find lectures useful any longer. So I've just been debating in another forum, how much knowledge do you have to know nowadays when so much is at your fingertips? And how much more should we be teaching about skills and how you handle risk and uncertainty? So I think there are two things: thinking about what future medicine is going to be like, but also thinking how our learners differ. I'm not as technically advanced as you, Mohamed, I have to admit that, but I think generation Y and Z are very different from any of us on this screen here. But I'd be interested in your views. I really would. I do think the learners are different as well nowadays.
I think it's important to prepare our student or graduate to what's coming in the future for future doctors. So we maybe adopt a new type of, maybe using blending type of learning, just to have face-to-face and online, so both can be used efficiently. This is my view on this, but we can listen to others.
I think it's an important view. I have to agree with you.
Okay.
I think there are no two different opinions, that the learners today are very different than the learners we used to be at our times. And the major shift that I have seen, whether we like it or not, or whether we want it or not, so I'm talking from teacher's perspective, that the element of student-centeredness is already taking place. And probably as educationists, what we need to do, and what should our strategy should be, to direct this change in a manner that we are facilitators of change from student centered to teacher centered, from teacher centered to student centered. And the way this change is directed, our teachers community does not feel uncomfortable. Neither I mean, students today are much more comfortable with having student centered teaching, and at their own pace, in their own ways, where they would like to have a recording of a particular presentation at 12 midnight, because that's when they learn best. So what's the harm? Let them have these opportunities of learning, as long as we teach them on how to be self-directed learners, and we provide them enough opportunities for learning. It's not my headache the way they learn, on what exactly are the ways that they want to learn. We leave it up to them. And our role should be to provide them adequate opportunities to learn, and at the end to assess them that they have learned it adequately. I would like to have a question toward the participants on how best we can involve our medical institutions in our region, particularly in our countries, to get involved into the kind of webinars or the training courses that we are suggesting as a result of faculty development activities.
Prof. Gohar, would you repeat the question, please? I wasn't.
Yes, sure.
Yes.
See, we are thinking right now of collaboration at the 4 collaboration centers level. So my question is, how best we can involve medical institutions from our countries, because ultimately they are the end users. So they need to be involved into the even the development of the programs, and then at participating in faculty development activities. So what mechanisms we can use to involve them in these faculty development activities as users and as developers both?
Actually,
Yes, Dr. Hany, you wanted to say something?
Yes. Okay. Thank you, Dr. Gohar, for the question. If I understand well, what's your question? I think that the first step is to have like nationwide needs assessment in all the medical and health professional education institutions about the needed faculty development programs. I mean, this should be the ground from which we can on which we can build on deciding on the needed faculty development activities. At the level of all the medical and health professional education institutions. Also, we need to have like comparing and contrasting the needs of the different institutions in the EMR region through the 4 centers, so that we can like standardize or see the common needs of different institutions away from the basic needs. I think that the WHOCC centers do their job well in introducing or in training faculty on the basic concepts in education. But I mean the advanced topics, especially during the pandemic and need for online teaching and online assessment. So the starting point should be needs assessment at the nationwide level, based on which we can conduct the needed learning, faculty development activities.
If I can add here, just a way of networking, the Arabian Gulf University is holding the secretary of the GCC Dean's Committee, and we have regular meeting once a year at least. And while we are meeting, we actually identify the gaps and the needs, and we discuss it in our meeting, and we try to share the knowledge on different issues, including one of them is faculty development program. So we have a good network of GCC medical deans committee. So we can distribute our whatever ideas and activities through this network.
If I understood the question right, Dr. Siraj, was it about student engagement as well?
Pardon? I didn't
If
get
I
your...
understood the question right, was it about engaging your students? Because Mohamed, we're about to give you that challenge with your master's program, aren't we? How can you engage your students more in how you move forward? It's certainly something I've found that by engaging them, you can really move forward. When I took over a new medical school, it made a huge difference to our student ratings, and we put them on our committees. So we would have a student on the curriculum committee and on the admissions committee. They actually fed into our processes. And then we also tried to put patient representatives on as well. But Mohamed, do you want to speak to that? Because I think we talked about that when we had our meeting recently, that the more you can bring students in, actually into the process, the more, my personal feeling is you enhance the program. I learned that at Maastricht in the Netherlands, where they were really good at doing that. But that may not have been the focus of the question asked, in which case I apologize.
Yes, it's a brilliant idea. we might include the students even in our faculty development programs to talk about their perceptions. And as much as they involved, as better the programs are. But yes, the focus of the question was on how to involve other institutions. We are we represent 4 WHO collaborating centers. For example, how we in Bahrain are aiming to involve other educators as developers of the programs and as participants. In the Gulf area, for example, how people in Suez Canal will involve other educators from other Egyptian universities. So I think this was the main focus of the question.
Dr. Wajid's suggestion was to involve the different institutions. I beg to disagree at this stage and would try to focus on the collaborating centers, that they know the pulse of their students as well as their teacher, and they should come forward, identify the needs of their teachers and develop faculty development program, and then this may be at a later stage, we may go to the institutions as well. But right now, I think it will be more productive if we focus ourselves on the collaborating centers. Thank you.
Let me put my question in another way. Say that we have agreed on this forum that we need to develop a fully automated asynchronous teacher training program that provides excellent teaching and learning opportunities, and it consists of like 10 hours of online teacher training, and we have developed 10 different excellent quality workshops on different aspects as what the participants in this meeting have identified. Say the material is ready and it's with me right now, and my question to you is, where am I going to post this material so that the institutions who are the end users of this material and the teachers who are working in those institutions, if they are not involved or if they do not get to know about the excellent work that I have done, they are not going to be engaged in the activity. So the products would not be utilized the way they should be utilized. So when we are developing the product, we need to keep in mind the customer needs, and at the same time, how best we are going to market them through collaboration centers in this case, plus other strategies on how best we can sell our product. Over.
Thank you.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Archana, please go ahead.
Do you have anything to add more, sir? Dr. Siraj?
I think if we might have this as the final point in this theme, because time is running up. We can take any suggestions regarding the marketing of the faculty development workshop as Prof. Gohar elaborated on it. So if anybody has ideas regarding,
I think you can help in marketing this part. It's no problem. As the GCC medical deans, they include more than 29 medical schools in the region, in the GCC region. So we can help in this.
Excellent idea.
Thank you all for your valuable inputs on theme 1. I think it's time to proceed with theme 2. Is it okay, sir? Should we take a small break or we can proceed with
the opinion of the participant if they want to
I think we can
for
proceed.
a few minutes or 10 minutes, or shall we continue? So
we are a small group and we can proceed. Yeah.
I think so, yes, we can.
We can.
Thank you.
If we could just have 5 minutes, it's okay, if you don't mind. But I think before that, Mohamed Hany, we just have to summarize what we have agreed upon. Like you have said before, that we need to each center to
That's three
provide
levels.
just a list for what the strengths and what can provide according to expertise available, and what each and each center to identify or to determine what areas gaps needed that could be to get support from other centers. Just to give us 2 minute summary, and then to continue the rest of the meeting. Thank you.
Dr. Archana, would you like to summarize?
Yes, yes, just give me a minute. Yes.
Right.
Yes, I think the broad outcome of the discussion what we had till now put together, we all agreed that the needs of the collaborating centers have to be identified, and the needs of undergraduate program, PG programs, the supervisors, the residents, and each need at every level should be identified, and the strength and limitation of the each WHOCC centers to be complementary to each other and utilize the resources judiciously, and also to develop a certification program for medical teachers which can be run in an asynchronous manner to start with, and then to add other modules as we proceed based on the emerging needs. And these program can run in 3 different levels. The first level is based on the needs what we identified, and the second level is a general program for all the faculty which provides common information about various aspects of medical education and health professionals education. And the third, to have webinars, agreed upon webinars by each center, at least 1 or 2 per year, with WHO experts or with the international experts abroad based on the topic of interest. And as Dr. Valerie mentioned, we should also focus on how to go back the post-COVID-19 adaptation, and how to implement blended learning in a more efficient manner should also be addressed. Thank you. We will submit a detailed report probably in another few days. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Archana.
Very nicely summarized.
One additional idea, please. I think that the webinars, if we develop good webinars, they will be kind of marketing for the programs that we will develop. If we use our networks, the different networks, a strong webinar can be a start for marketing for this kind of group of collaborating centers working together to satisfy the needs of medical educators. I think this can be good marketing.
I agree with you, Dr. Hany, and we can in fact quickly proceed with this idea to have a series of webinars, maybe once in a month, one center once in a month. So it means that another center, and this may not be necessarily from you, which means that the idea is you are going to host and organize it, and you might involve Dr. Valerie or someone from anywhere. It must not be from within your center, it can be from anywhere. But as long as it's a collaborative effort on the agreed upon agenda with a clear vision, then it would contribute to the faculty development the way we want faculty development to happen, fulfilling the needs of our Emro region.
Thank you. Well said. Thank you so much. Now I hand over the mic to Dr. Hany, Salem, to proceed with the next theme. Over to Dr. Hany.
Thank you, Dr. Archana. Our second theme for discussion is the multi-center research and health professionals education. We need actually to discuss on the potential areas for multi-center research, for research that will be beneficial for all the centers or all the institutions in health professional education institutions in the EMR region. This is one of the most important areas, which is research, and being a multi-center or multi-centric research adds much to this research, to the credibility and to the generalizability of this research. All the centers, I think the 4 centers agree that there should be some sort of multi-center research on different areas in teaching, learning, and assessment in the health professions. I would like to invite our dear Professor Valerie to guide this the discussion around this point. But before that, please allow me to brief here about the input of the 4 centers out of the questionnaire we conducted. I think that Prof. Valerie was not with us from the beginning, so she didn't see what, or she didn't know what was the discussion about. So I'll share my screen now.
Thank you, Prof. Hany. That's really helpful. Thank you.
Thank you. These are the areas in the survey. I will discuss only this theme for discussion now, which is the second theme. The WHCC Center and the College of Physicians and Surgeons in Pakistan input was in the form of reporting that they have like membership programs in HPE, and they have like healthcare, programs in healthcare management, and different different areas in research in this point. Actually, the WHO and the WHO's terms of reference of the center include conducting research and multi-center research, so they are very ready for this initiative. The EDC Center in Jazeera and Sudan, the input of them was in the form of providing research team members, providing ideas, research design, and also accumulated experiences in HPE and in the research in HPE, and especially in the area of social accountability and community-based and oriented medical education. For the CRD from the Faculty of Medicine, South Carolina University in Egypt, they can provide expertise and human resources for conducting such joint research. And for us here in Bahrain, in the College of Medicine and Medical Science in AGU, we can participate in selecting priority research topics to reflect the regional experience. Actually, here in Bahrain, we already started, now we are publishing a research on readiness of the medical faculty for online teaching, which is a multi-center research. Actually, it's jointly with Egypt and Saudi Arabia. So we have experience in this, and we can participate in this important area. This is a brief idea about the results of the survey in regard to this theme. And now I give the ground to our Professor Valerie Vaz to lead the discussion about this one.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Prof. Hany. It would be really help me if I knew who you were representing on the screen here. Obviously, I know Prof. Abdelhalim is AGU and Mohamed, Dr. Mohamed is AGU. But where else are you representing? The CPSP in Pakistan, is somebody here from there today?
Dr. Siraj.
Dr. Siraj.
Yes.
And could you just tell me a bit about yourself, Dr.
Yes.
Siraj?
Dr. Wael Nuri from Sudan. And Dr. Soha from Egypt. These are the
doctors. So could you tell us a bit about yourselves so I can just...
Okay, maybe they can introduce themselves.
Yes, that would be really helpful. Thank you.
Dr. Siraj.
I am Dr. Siraj, and my full name is Sirajul Haque Shaikh, and I am working in College of Physicians and Surgeons, Pakistan, which is the premier postgraduate medical organization which started in 1962. And this postgraduate organization was found on the pattern of the Royal Colleges of UK. And since then, it has continued steadily in the postgraduate medical education. And in 1970s, the Department of Medical Education was established to cater to the framework needs of the different postgraduate programs. I am a medical educationist. I did my master's from University of Illinois, Chicago in 1992. And I had joined this college in 2006 and am working as director of the Department of Medical Education since then. So I think this is my brief introduction. Thank you.
That's great. Thank you so much. That's really helpful. So the Chicago Masters is great fun, I think. So that's great. Next, Dr.
Wael.
Assalamu alaikum. I'm Dr. Wael Mukhtar. I'm the Dean Faculty of Medicine, University of Jazeera in Sudan. And I was also the previous director of the Education and Development Center in the University of Jazeera for 6 years. I'm basically otolaryngologist, and I also have obtained a master in medical education. Jazeera adopted an innovative program, which is community-based and community-oriented medical education. And also we have, you can say, experience in social accountability, which we are very interested in here. Just a brief.
Social accountability is so important. I really share that passion. So thank you very much from Sudan.
Dr. Soha from Egypt, Suez Canal University.
Yes, hi. I'm Dr. Soha Younes. I am a professor of clinical pathology, and I'm the director of the Center of Research and Development in Medical Education and Healthcare Services. Actually, I don't have degrees in medical education, but our faculty and is involved. Of course, we have the first medical education department in Egypt, and then at the same time, I was director of the quality assurance unit in our faculty, and we were the first accredited faculty all over Egypt in the area of, actually not only in medicine but in all the education. I've been the director of the quality assurance unit for twice actually. I'm interested in training and improving the healthcare services, and of course in working on the medical education or the undergraduate and postgraduate studies is very important. Is very important in step for developing or improving the healthcare services as well. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Whereabouts in Egypt are you based, Dr. Soha? Whereabouts?
Ismailia. Ismailia. It's a small. It's a city on the Suez Canal.
All right.
And yes, and our center is located in the Faculty of Medicine of Suez Canal University.
Right.
And we have a long history of collaboration with the WHO since 1889. That was the first collaboration with WHO, and we have a lot of reputation. And actually, Dr. Mohamed, Hany, and Dr. Abdelhalim and Dr. Hany, Salem are all coming from our university.
I was wondering if there was a link. And do you do quite a lot of community-based education, Dr.
Yes, exactly. Our curriculum is community-based, community-oriented, and we have a lot of our students from first year are working in the primary healthcare units, and we have a lot of projects that have been done for community services. And we have a lot of also other international collaborations that through which we give a lot of training programs. That's what I can remember right now, but we do have a
That's
long
great.
history.
No, you have quite a reputation for your community-based education, so that's great.
Yes,
Certainly
thank
done
you.
a good job with Dr. Mohamed.
Yes, that's true.
Bahrain are lucky to have him. So
yes, that's true. That's true. Yeah. Thank you so much.
So Dr. Archana, where are you based? Dr. Archana.
Yes, thank you. I am Assistant Professor in Medical Education Unit in CMMS AGU. I work with Professor Hany, Dr. Hany.
All right.
And
So nice
Dean,
to meet you. And
thank
Dr.
you.
Prof. Hany, where are you based?
Actually, originally I'm from South Canaan University in Egypt, the same college of Professor Abdelhalim, Professor Soha, and Professor Mohamed Hany. We came from the same college. I worked before in Saudi Arabia for like 7 years. Then I moved to the AGU only this year, actually the first year for me in the AGU. I'm an associate professor in medical education and working in the medical education unit in the AGU.
Well, you've been busy recruiting, Prof. Abdelhalim.
Yes, I think we recruit talented guys.
And have I got everybody then? Is Dr. Soha, are you from?
Soha, Egypt. This is South Canal University.
She was just presenting herself, but she turned off her camera.
Yeah.
Okay, that's really helpful. Good. What a great collaboration. So I suppose what is needed so much in medical education research is collaboration, because so many people study something in their own institution, and then having reviewed papers over the years, one says, well, so what, is that generalizable elsewhere, or is it just what happens in the Arabian Gulf, or is that just what happens in Jazeera, or just what happens in Sudan? So I suppose the best way of moving this forward is really to start where one always needs to start, which is what might the research questions be, and how might they be generalizable across the four collaborating centers. And I mean, not just broad topics, but just what questions do you want to answer across your regions where you feel a collaboration would be useful? Does that seem a good place to start, Prof. Hany? So I think it's probably going around everyone to see what their thoughts are about research, and I'm not quite sure where to start and pick on somebody first. So perhaps look for a volunteer. What are the important research questions that we need to answer in HPE?
What after COVID?
Yeah, we could think about COVID. That could be somewhere to start, couldn't it? Or
yeah.
Okay. Well, I think if you allow me,
yeah.
Prof. Hany, I think this is also a research question itself. What are the challenges of medical education in the region? Because we have, as you know, scarcity material published about the problems and challenges of health professions education in the region. Also, one of the important areas is social accountability, the real impact done, and also I think the impact of decentralization of schools. You know, some countries like Sudan have a lot of. If you had Sudan as an example, we have a lot of health professions institutes, a lot of medical schools and nursing schools, but yet they are not. The impact is not well studied. Just to start with these two questions, but I think there's a lot of areas need to be needed for research. One of the main problems is the lack of research, or the very few published papers in medical education or in health professional education in the region.
So how socially accountable are our medical schools across the region? Is that a question? Is that what you were thinking?
Yeah. For example, because most of us keep saying we are social accountable, we are community-based education, and do we have we really measured this impact? What are the evidence of being social accountable, for example?
And
What have these institutes done actually? What change have they done? What their contribution to development in our communities?
do we really
Over.
understand what social accountability is, do you think?
Yeah, this is also an area of
There was some interesting work which came out of a WONCA, that's the World Organization of Family Doctors workshop, was how the difference between understanding social accountability in Japan and the UK. And they wrote a paper together on it, and it's very it's quite culturally sensitive.
yeah,
But
the determinants of social accountability in different views or in different countries and so on.
so would that translate to Pakistan, Dr. Siraj? Because you've built your models on the royal colleges, but that's always been rather a hierarchical thing. Do you think they're socially accountable?
Yes, it is equally applicable to Pakistan and to our institution, which is responsible for postgraduate medical education in the country. Although there are other universities which are also participating in postgraduate medical education, but the girth of postgraduate medical education offered by the college is much more extensive. About 75 fellowship programs we offer, and 22 membership programs we offer. So we are trying to make it socially accountable by declaring the qualities of our postgraduate medical education specialists in different fields. And we have, like ACGME and like CanMed, we have also developed our own competency framework, and we try to stick to that framework, and we want to ensure that all our specialists passing out from various residency programs, they conform to those frameworks. So we think that this social accountability phenomena is a trust between the medical profession and the society. And this the individuals are also individual members of the profession are also responsible, but much more are responsible the organizations which produce either graduates or postgraduates. So we are quite aware of our obligation as a postgraduate medical organization. Thank you.
That's really interesting. And what framework do you use for social accountability?
As you see, the ACGME framework and the CanMed frameworks, they have similar is our framework, but in our model, the center is the patient care.
All right.
And immediately surrounding the patient care is a circle which deals with the knowledge, but not simple knowledge, but it deals with knowledge with critical thinking. It deals with teamwork. It deals with the technical know-how, and the skills. And there is an outer circle which deals with not only professionalism, it deals with advocacy, and we have added another item in our framework, and that is called pedagogy. And this pedagogy means that we want that when our graduate, a specialist graduate, they go out, they are well versed with the learning methodologies, so that they are able to learn themselves and they are able to teach not only their peers but also the junior members in the profession. So we have this framework and we try to stick to this framework. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'm quite interested in that because I gather you now recognize primary care as a specialty. Is that right?
Yes.
Because that's
Primary
been
care.
quite an issue over the years as to whether primary care is a
Yes.
specialty. And I would have thought that's part of, I'm looking at Dr. Wael Nuri here, that's part of social accountability.
Yeah, that's right. And this is the most sore topic in our country and in most of the developing country with the meager resources. And we are now concentrating on
I think you've muted.
To enter into a general practitioners to enter into a program which is the family medicine program, and we have 2 tiers of family medicine program. One is the fellowship tier, and this is a 4-year program, and that is an academic program, whereas we have a membership program of 2 years in which general practitioners can enter and they can learn and they can appear in the exam so that they become a certified family physician.
Good.
And we are now trying to bring family physician into the forefront.
Good. So does social accountability resonate with you as a research question, or would you have a different research question? I'm just trying to work out where if we're going to collaborate, what would be a good research question. So perhaps you'd like to think about that and we could move on.
Yes, we can move on, we can collaborate,
Thank you.
we
I'll
can
leave you.
think out.
That's really helpful.
Yes.
So is it Dr. Soha from Egypt, or does someone from AGU want to come in now?
Okay, so just to say, here we are at Arabian Gulf University. We are a regional university, and we are serving not only Bahrain, we are serving the 6 GCC region, and we are accountable for the whole region. Our main research areas of interest is the priorities. For example, the medical school is the health issues actually in the GCC region. One of these issues, including also medical education, it's on the agenda to be addressed and to disseminate knowledge. We graduated so far in the last 40 years around 2,500 medical doctors who serves in these 6 GCC region or countries. And they are qualified and they hold positions, high positions in their countries. And our faculty contributed a lot for the disseminating knowledge, especially here nowadays during the COVID-19 era and the pandemic, and spreading the knowledge regarding different issues related to the disease, vaccination, and the infection, and all of that. And this is the areas that we would like to address, but also in medical education, there are other areas I see it's still important for us related to its old areas, the assessment, the curriculum, especially curriculum revision. And looking for the future of medical schools and how they will face the needs of the society and the needs of the future doctor, to be prepared for what's come next generation doctors, using artificial intelligence, using virtual reality, augmented reality, 3D printing, and so on. So all what's coming in the future, we need to be ready and prepare our graduates for what's coming. This is my view.
Yes, it's so important. Dr. Wali, does that resonate with your view of social accountability, or where are you and where is our colleague in Egypt on this, Doctor?
Excuse me, can you repeat I lost the net during the last part. Can I hear you? Can you ask me again the question, please?
Of course. So you want
yes,
Prof.
Professor, yes. I think Dr. Soha lost connection actually in the last part, she said. So she just want to know what was the last point raised.
So where did you lose us, Dr. Soha? I think we need to understand that.
Oh, there's just the last sentence, not the whole
right.
conversation. That's
So,
the conclusion.
So back to our Dean, Prof. Abdelhalim.
Okay, so it was a question asked regarding the areas of interest for collaboration and research. So we are discussing this in general.
Yes.
We discuss social accountability and the areas that we are at the Arabian Gulf University as a GCC.
Yes, okay.
Serving,
Thank you so much.
This is a few.
So it was a broad question as well, wasn't it? And what's moving forward, how will artificial intelligence and everything that's going to face our future doctors going to impact on how we should be delivering medical education? Is that correct? Did I understand right?
Yes.
And so I'd be interested how that resonated with others' views in the other three centres. Whether that's, I think there's a difference in how we understand social accountability. So that in itself might be a question. But what do you think, Dr. Soha, Professor Soha?
I agree that maybe we all have different point of views about, or maybe we should somehow unify or unite our ideas about social accountability, because a lot of activities we are doing can be considered a part of social accountability. Okay, such as if we can say that our students are working with the primary healthcare units or the community or all the project that were directed to helping the community. This could be considered as a social accountability. We can also consider all the medical help that we send, or let's say medical conveys that we send some of our doctors to have to perform medical checkup for remote areas in the region of Suez Canal. This could be for free and to provide healthcare service for the people living in these remote areas. This could be included in social accountability as well. What else we can say? Training the doctors that are working with the Ministry of Health, and are not affiliated with the Faculty of Medicine itself, to improve their performance. This could be a part also of social accountability. Some of our in the fourth year or in the fifth year, our students perform school visits to check up the students of the schools. They go to visit. We have occupational health program. So during this occupational health program, they also provide some sort of checkup for the workers in different factories that located in the region as well. So we do this as a part of our students' activities or curriculum related activities, educational activities. So I don't know, can they also be considered as a separate activities related to social accountability? I don't know if I'm making myself clear,
No,
but this is what I've
it's
been
very
thinking
clear,
about.
and it's really helping us bring out the differences in thought across the regions. Oh, well, I've lost Mohamed. Is he? Oh, there you are in the middle now. Mohamed, having worked across Egypt and now working in UAE, what are your thoughts?
Yes.
Yes, I agree that it's culturally sensitive. It's apparent that each of the centers looks at social accountability from a different angle. And this is an interesting research area. This itself, how we perceive it differently. Like Dr. Soha, and I know that all the three centers, the AGU, Jazeera, and Suez Canal are like sister institutions. They were all established in the same, and in the same era, and based on the same concepts: the problem-based learning and community-oriented learning. Community-based learning and community-oriented. The curriculum is originally community-oriented. Now we are Pakistan. They are looking for the level of postgraduates. In Bahrain, also we are looking at the regional, being socially accountable for the region of Gulf. These different perceptions, I think, are very interesting to become a material for a very good research. And I think that because it's actually the research in social accountability is a strength in Jazeera. They are very good in doing this. And they are collaborating with, I think, Prof. Wael, correct me if I'm wrong, with Netherlands, with some, I think, Maastricht or McMaster. I read some of the researches in social accountability conducted by Jazeera faculty. And they are very good in this. If we can replicate such research on at the level of the four centers, I think it will be a very good, and it will exercise for us, and also interesting for the international readership.
Dr. Wael, you kicked us off on this pathway. Is that where you were thinking when you kicked us off? Kick the ball into the match, sort of thing. We're very heavily into football at the moment in the UK.
Yeah, I think that, as we all know, that social accountability is a hot issue currently in medical education. Recently we did some publications. We are working with the net, which is a network for equity training, and
how do you spell that?
We are doing some publications.
How do you spell it?
Sorry?
How do you spell it? Sorry, the organization that's dealing with equity.
THE capital, then NET small. The net.
The net.
One word. Yeah.
Is everybody familiar with that? Oh, thank you, Mohamed. Technology at your fingertips as always.
So we are publishing some papers considering evidence for social accountability. Recent papers are concentrating upon the graduates' outcome and so on. So it's a really rich area for research, as we all know. There are a lot of varieties in it. I think it's one of the wonderful areas for collaborative research between us four centers. Of course, there are another areas also in medical education, like professionalism, because also we look at professionalism due to the difference in culture in the EMRO, and there is difference, as you know, from the Western countries, and also professionalism is one of the very interesting areas for research, Prof. Valerie.
I couldn't agree more. It's very culturally sensitive too. In fact, Dr. Siraj was using CanMeds, was showing the overlap between professionalism and social accountability, because I think CanMeds is a professionalism framework, but you can apply it to social accountability, or that's something to think about anyway. Do you want to, where do you want to be at the end of this session? Do you want to have generally some ideas, or have formulated something to move forward? Dr. Hany, what were you thinking when you kicked it off, started us?
Yes, Prof. Valerie, I think that we are generating actually ideas or areas for research. The most important one until now, which took most of the time, is the social accountability. And I think that it's a common theme between all the four centers. If we take the Sudan as in the first place, but actually the Egypt actually has like good experience in this regard since its inception in 1980 or before that, in developing the local community, going outside the boundaries of the school, the medical school, to the community, and providing services, not only health care services, but also other services that are related actually to the health of the community. So although there is like different views of the term social accountability according to the different institutions, but I think also that there is a consensus about all of us about this this issue as a hot topic for research. The other two topics we spoke about, the future of medical education about after the pandemic or after COVID-19, and the challenges that face the medical education, and also the professionalism, which is, as you said, it's like overlapping with social accountability in some areas according to the different competency frameworks. You mentioned the CanMeds and the ACGME. I think that this session is fruitful because we are generating areas actually for research. So I encourage the other members to think about other areas that we can put as hot topics for research.
Can we ask Dr. Mohamed Hany want to talk? He's raising hand.
Yes, I think by the end of this session or the end of the 2 days, we need to come out with stepwise approach that we can commit ourselves to in order to produce tangible products, tangible faculty development programs, or research, like a mechanism or a strategy on how to produce, not only to determine the research topics or research priorities, but how are we going to work together as four centers, as this body, hand in hand, in order to produce research that is very valuable for the whole region. I think that we need to come out with simple steps that we might, like an annual meeting, a committee on determining the research priority topics, or like rotatory leadership of the research topics among the four centers. I think we need to come out with some kind of mechanism to guarantee the sustainability of
So I was just wondering if Dr. Wael, I love your background, by the way. I'm so enjoying your birds. Are your papers in a position that you could share them with everyone? Because it's always good to start from a platform when you're thinking about research. So if you've got some data you could share, that would be, it may not be that it's in a position to share it yet. It's just a thought.
Yeah, I would love to share it. Just maybe it's not with me right now, the material, but I will share it with you through emails to Dr. Abdelhalim, and it could be distributed among the whole group, I think.
I think that would be good, because it's always nice to have something a platform. So when you're thinking what to do, we know what might be there already.
Yeah, I'm ready to share it with you. It's okay.
I can't
Thank you for that.
remember when the session ends. I noticed that we're at 3 o'clock Bahrain time.
Yes, we're almost there.
Yeah, so I don't know whether you want to generate more ideas now or leave it there.
Maybe the mechanism that Dr. Mohamed Hany just mentioned, how we can promote joint research between these 4 centers.
Well, if you allow me,
can we resume this discussion in the next session?
Because we have a lot on this, another 2 important topics in the next session, Dr.
Yeah.
Siraj.
if you allow me, Prof. Abdelhalim,
Yes.
I think to be practical, let us agree upon forming a small committee to do this homework in each center, to list what we think, what each center thinks that's the areas of priorities, and then we can bring it together and see what we have in common, and then we do a one list to put it in steps or in priorities, and then to go further.
There's also a point that I would like to point out, if you allow me. There's putting the listing priorities and having a committee. We also have to bear in mind how we are going to attract the, let's say, the target of our research, because from my experience during the last 2 years, trying to communicate with other faculties and to ask them to join in the research that we were doing is we have to find some way to attract the policymakers, or let's say the administrative in the difficult medical faculties, and the student, even the students, how we are going to attract them to join our research, because it's not, otherwise we will be working on isolated island, that we are working together, the 4 centers, and we are sharing the topics together and the results together, but we are really missing, how can I say it? We are missing attracting our main audience, or those who are really the target of this research, because whatever we are going to do, it should reflect on the medical education or the different medical institute, if I'm right. So if they are not going to share with us or be interested in what we are doing, then I think that this will be a problem in the future. So we have also to think how we are going to work as with them and how to attract their attention.
I think that's a very good point. Just with it's probably not helpful at all, but there's a really nice little video of social accountability that IFSMA have done, the International Medical Students Association. Has anybody seen that? It's only about 3 minutes, but I'll send the link. I'm not as quick as you, Mohamed. I'll find the link and send it to you, Mohamed, to send out. But I was just thinking that in the EMR, the medical students themselves did a really nice bit of research on how family medicine in medical schools and what the curriculum was like and how long students spent there. And I was quite amazed how the students themselves were able to do the research across the whole EMR region. I think they got about 84 medical schools to reply. So perhaps there are just other ways of trying to look at this problem. How does the learner feel about social accountability and how well that we include them in it? And I think that the outcome was that an awful lot of medical students got less than 4 weeks in family medicine. Their research showed. They did a questionnaire across all the medical schools. So it's a really good question, but there are other ways of thinking about, once you've got in your head what you're wanting to look at, of how you can go about finding the answer. I think you need to have a clear research question first, but I agree, it's how you get people to engage with it. So that one way there was to get the medical students who were passionate that they wanted more social accountability to do the work. Their passion shone through. But I'm aware of time. I'm not sure whether we're finishing at 1:30 or 1 o'clock. That's my time. It's not your time.
Yes.
Sorry.
Okay, I think the time is up actually for the session, but I'm sure that we are still open for any new ideas. If someone wants to suggest another idea for research. No one wants actually.
I think suggesting ideas can be the next step. We need now to put some framework, يعني, on working on the generation of ideas.
I think you already have hit on a good generalizable one across the regions that could be really fascinating to find out what different people think, and which comes in perfectly with what Prof. Abdelhalim, I hope I'm saying your name, Prof. Abdelhalim, says about the future, because I think the future of medical education has to be in changing the way we think from being hierarchical to everybody becoming more looking at their society more. Some of you are further ahead than others, and that would be part of the interesting comparison, building on the work that's already happening in the Sudan. I congratulate you all on that. I think it was very helpful and exciting.
Thank you, Prof.
Thank you. Thank you. Prof. Hany, maybe if you summarize the session before.
Yes.
Okay.
To summarize this session, actually it was run perfectly by Professor Valerie in the form of inquiry-based discussions to motivate all of us to generate ideas. The topic that took most of the time actually was social accountability, and we discussed this extensively, and we know that it can be an issue of good research between all the centers, in addition to the other topics, which are the future of medical education after the pandemic and the challenges actually facing the medical education. In addition, we have another issue that can be also a possible research area, which is the professionalism and health professional education, which has some overlap with the social accountability. The one important point was raised by Professor Mohamed Hany about the need to have a mechanism to guarantee carrying out these ideas, or putting this into action. Who will do what will be the roles of different centers? How can we run the research, collect the data, and so on. So this should be thought about for this important theme, which is multi-center research. One important point was raised by Professor Soha, which is the accountability of the students towards our research. How can we attract the students, or the actually participants, not only students but all the participants, whether they are students or maybe faculty members and also patients, to participate in our research and to give data for the research. So this is the summary of the session, and it's over to you, Professor Valerie, if you want to conclude with something.
Oh no, just to say well done. What a fascinating group of people to be working with, and to thank you for inviting me in to join you all. I look forward to our next meeting.
Thank you. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Meet you, inshallah, on Thursday at 1.
Thursday.
Inshallah. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum.
Alaikum salam.
Thank you.
Allah Hafiz.